A couple quick announcements before we get started with today's Anki video. Maggie started medical school today, so go ahead and wish her good luck. I start my second year of medical school a week from today. And most importantly, we are launching a ton of different means to communicate with you, including Discord, live streaming, and an Instagram channel that's ran by our marketing director, Suze. Our short-term vision for the Discord channel is to just have kind of an arena for us all to talk and communicate, maybe answer some more specific science questions, and also allow you to answer each other's science questions. This stream is going to be a way for us to still stay in contact with you while we're in the middle of med school and we're both kind of in the throes of it. But I think it's gonna be really valuable because we're going to be able to do some study with me's, answer some of your specific MCAT questions, do Q&As, just hang out, whatever, so that while we're in medical school and we're still in the throes of it, we can still stay in touch with you and probably answer a few questions that we wouldn't think of. So the Discord channel and the streaming are just ways for us to talk to you and get feedback from you in real time so that we make sure that we're meeting all the needs of y'all. As far as when we're gonna be streaming, we know that the very first streaming session is this Thursday, the 28th at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. And we'll be streaming for about an hour to an hour and a half. But the schedule past that's gonna be a little bit more sporadic because I don't know anything about Maggie's schedule. I don't know what her life is gonna look like. And honestly, I don't really know what my second year of school is gonna look like. But with her being more of a night studier and me being more of like an early morning studier, you'll have plenty of time and plenty of opportunity to interact with both of us and sit down and go through a study session with both of us. For when we'll be streaming in the future, we're gonna aim to stream about once a week, and we're going to be announcing those specific times through the Discord channel and through our Instagram page. So make sure that you join the Discord channel and that you are following the Instagram page, and we will get more of a solid schedule. It's just right now, while we're trying to figure out school, we're trying to make sure that we are not letting the ball drop with YouTube as well. I'll leave some links in the description so that you can easily follow the Discord page and the Instagram channel, and keep commenting videos that you would like to see. I know there's a lot of requests for us to review passages from other third parties and even more AAMC materials, and if that's something that you would like to see, you gotta email them. If you're getting value from what we're doing, then tell them that, and tell them that you would like to see us review their materials as well. We appreciate you all for supporting. We appreciate every single comment. We send them back and forth in our group message. So keep commenting, keep subscribing, and keep sharing this channel and our vision with your friends and your advisors, because we hear from every single one of them. Thank you so much, and enjoy this Anki video. If you wanna essentially take the MCAT as an open book test, then this video is the perfect video for you. This video is meant to teach you how to use the Kaplan books alongside Anki for the MCAT so that you have all of the facts memorized for the science sections of the exam. Now, there are a couple different decks out there, like the Jack Sparrow one is a really popular deck, but my favorite is the ReBopBeBop deck. I'm gonna focus on just the functional portions of using this deck, and I'm not gonna spend a ton of time talking about Anki as a program or teaching you how to download it. However, while I briefly explain while Steven made this deck, I'm going to include screen recordings of how to download Anki, download the ReBop decks, and configure your settings to match mine. Also, all the setting recommendations that I use come straight from the Anki himself. He's kind of like the grandfather for all things Anki medical school related. And this way, whether you've already overcome the learning curve of Anki or you're just trying to get into it, you will be well on your way to knowing all of the content for the MCAT by the end of this video. The ReBop deck is ridiculously thorough, and it's honestly one of the more difficult pre-made Anki decks that I've ever been through, and that includes the Anki deck that I use right now to study for my STEP exams in medical school. The reason that it's so difficult is actually one of the minute complaints I have about it, and I'll address that a little bit later in the video. This deck was made in tandem with the Kaplan content books, which are probably the most common means of studying. When I first started studying for the MCAT, this is exactly what I did. I bought these books and I read all the way through them, and I'll include a link to the book set that I'm referencing in the description. Now, I'm not sure if you've ever seen the Kaplan book set, but it is massive, dummy thick. It took me like 2 or 3 months to read through all of them the first time I sat down to actually do it. So yes, like a deck that is made out of this book is going to be very thorough. You're going to know more than enough materials to absolutely crush the MCAT. Honestly, it's hard for me to imagine somebody fully committing themselves to this deck and the advice that we give on this channel and end up scoring anything less than a 515. And that's just because it's just so comprehensive and it's so difficult. But if you're willing to take the challenge, I'm about to show you how you should go about learning the cards. The major strength of this deck is its ease of workflow. And what makes the workflow so easy is that it actually has separate decks for each Kaplan chapter that you'll be going through. This makes the workflow just incredibly intuitive because you read a Kaplan chapter, you learn it, and then you do the flashcard set for it virtually. But this organization, while it's helpful, it also kind of bleeds into one of my pet peeves about this deck, and that is that every single chapter is separated into a specific deck. It's kind of like a first world problems thing, but I wish that it would have been in a tiered tag system so that it would have been a little bit cleaner on your interface. That's how the Anki Medical School deck is organized, and while it doesn't really change too much functionally, it just makes it look better. There are definitely ways for you to go about consolidating all of those decks into one larger deck, but that's not the purpose of this video. So let's assume that you downloaded Anki, changed your settings, got all your add-ons added in, and you have all the decks downloaded as well. What you will be looking at is all of the cards in your decks will be unsuspended. And all unsuspended means is that these cards are in your review pile. If they're suspended, it means they are not in your review pile. They are for holding until you learn the concepts and put them in your review pile. So the first thing that you need to do is to suspend all of those cards. So this is kind of where the headache of having all the chapters in different decks comes through. You have to go through and suspend the cards for each individual deck. It's not a functional problem, it's just a little bit of a headache. But now that you've got everything suspended and everything is set up, it's time to start learning. Step number one of your content review is going to just be reading and internalizing the Kaplan chapter. Now this is a really important part, and I don't want you to miss this concept. You have to spend the time to actually understand and learn the material the first time you go through it. Anki is the best tool at helping you memorize and recall facts that you've already memorized, but it's really not that great at teaching you the material. So you have to first learn the material, and then you can use Anki so that you don't forget any of it and so that you can recall some of the more finite, minute details. Now what I mean by learning the chapter means that you just need to conceptually understand what the point of the process is that you're reading about, maybe some things that play into it. You don't have to necessarily understand all the tiny details. That's kind of where Anki comes through and shines for you. So let me give you an example of this first step. If you're reading a chapter about DNA replication, you may not 100% memorize the name of the enzyme that nicks the DNA to prevent supercoils. You may not know that that's topoisomerase 2, but you know that that is something that happens in DNA replication, and you've learned why that's an actual necessary process. So for me, that would be good enough to say, okay, I've learned it. Even though I may not have the name of the enzyme memorized, I have learned it, and I've tried to memorize that it's topoisomerase 2. Then Anki's going to come through and it's going to help you memorize the actual name of that enzyme. So that's step one. Learn the content by reading through the Kaplan chapter, engaging with the material however you need to make sure it's encoded in your brain, whether it be drawing diagrams. You can take notes if you want, but it feels super slow. And take the quiz at the end of each chapter, because that's just a good way for you to test yourself before the flashcards test you every single day. Step two is once you've finished learning all the material and you've taken the end of the chapter assessment questions, you'll end up unsuspending all the cards for that specific chapter. Now remember, that chapter is separated into one single deck, so you will unsuspend all the cards in that deck. You'll then go ahead and learn those cards. Just review them for the first time the same day that you read that chapter. And that's essentially it for reviewing new content. You're going to read the chapter with the intent of learning the content, unsuspend the new cards, and review them. And then lastly, step number three to making sure that you know all the sciences for the MCAT on test day is just to do your Anki reviews every single day. The most important thing that you can do for your learning and your understanding and your MCAT score is review these cards every single day. We've all fallen prey to this idea of and this feeling of, okay, well, for every new science that I shove into my brain, you know, some other science ends up falling out of my brain to make room for it. And the reason that's happening is because we're not reviewing the old content. So to keep the content from falling out of your brain whenever you learn something new, you have to review it every single day. And that's what Anki is so great for. And that's why it helps people do so well on standardized exams like the MCAT. So the most important thing that you can do for your studying is to review the cards that you have already learned. I know it feels more productive to learn new material or to study something that you don't know, but the thing that's going to help you score the most is to review the things that you've already learned. I'm not saying that you should review content that you've mastered. I'm saying you should just follow the Anki algorithm and don't put your reviews on the back burner, because then you will end up like most pre-meds that don't use Anki, who read this giant book set and learn every single science on their way through it, but by the time they're at the end of the book, they've already forgotten what was at the beginning of the book, or it's muddy. So if you want to keep it clear and you want to keep it sharp, you've got to do all of your due Anki cards every single day. It's just not very helpful for you to learn chapter 5 if in the process you've forgotten chapters 1 through 4. The truth is, Anki is bad at teaching you material, but it's just the best way possible to memorize and retain it. So the first time you see that material, you have to truly learn it. If you prefer to learn with videos, then this is probably not the deck for you. You should check out our video about using the Mile Down deck alongside the Khan Academy video so that you can actually have a video lecturing to you. But if you like to read your material, your textbooks, then this is perfect for you. And this is going to allow you to draw and interact with your material a little bit more. And I know that that's something that a lot of people, especially those that want to be surgeons in the future, have to do in order to encode the material, is to feel like they're interacting with that material by drawing on it. Some strengths and weaknesses of this deck. I think this deck excels at how thorough it is. I think it covers every science and more that is going to or could possibly be tested on your test day. So if you know all the sciences here, you're not going to get blindsided by a science that they need you to know. And if you feel like you are getting blindsided by a science that they need you to know, probably means that your strategies are weak and you should check out our strategies playlist here. But while this deck is super thorough, my biggest complaint with it is that it uses a traditional flashcard approach of you have a question on the front and then you have an answer on the back. I actually like the fill-in-the-blank approach a little bit better. And I know that there are some critics of it and say that it uses context clues and it makes the flashcards a little bit easier, and I think it does make the flashcards a little bit easier. But I personally find value in using context clues to derive my answer because it forces my brain to learn something in a different fashion. And because the MCAT is testing your problem-solving skills, it only stands to reason that using problem-solving while you review your content by using the context around the cards to fill in the blank would be a beneficial approach. And maybe that's not the approach for everybody, but that's one that's worked really well for me. And so while it's obviously all preference, my preference is for the fill-in-the-blank or the close-A style. Now, if you're trying to do your entire MCAT prep with this method, then you are going to need to understand the 3 facets of a good MCAT prep, and that is going to be content, strategies, and realistic passage practice. This video is dedicated to teaching you how to learn the content, but we have an entire playlist that's dedicated to teaching you the strategies. But the last facet that you'll need is getting realistic passage practice. When I was private tutoring students, I would have them take a full-length exam from a third-party vendor every 4 weeks, and then during their final 6 weeks of prep, I would have them take an exam and review it every other day. They would kind of alternate those. So they would end up taking anywhere between 10 and 15 exams whenever they were studying with me. That kind of follows some of the science that shows that interacting with the test and the test style and picking up on your mistakes actually accounts for a large bump in the average student score on a standardized exam. Now, these results worked out really well for me and for all of my students that I had that were able to follow my advice. But if you just decide that you're not going to take that many exams, I understand. 10 to 15 exams is a lot and it's kind of expensive. I would really urge you though to make sure that you take all 5 of the exams that are offered by the AAMC. They have the sample test, which we actually on this channel review every single passage with you, so make sure to check that out so that you can learn kind of how a tutor like myself or like Maggie is thinking. And they have 4 full-length exams. I would recommend taking the sample test just a couple passages at a time, every couple of days, and reviewing them with Maggie and myself on the channel so that you can kind of start to think like a 90th or 100th percentile score. As far as where I would get the other 5 to 10 practice exams, it would have to be through third-party vendors. And I just encourage you to take whichever exams that you can get your hands on. Also, lastly, make sure that you save the AAMC exams for closer to the end of your prep. That's the most realistic passage practice, and those are the ones that you want to take towards the end so that you're making sure you're preparing for the MCAT appropriately. If your last 3 exams are not averaging to plus or minus 2 or 3 points from what you want to score on test day, then go ahead and push your studying and your test out just a little bit more, because it's very difficult to make more than a 3 or 4 point jump on the exam regardless what Reddit says. I've actually seen more students that score lower on their test than their practice test is averaging then exceed it. So I'm not saying it's impossible, I'm just saying you need to protect yourself and we need to be realistic. Thanks for watching the video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.